Welcome to That Damn Fantasy Show. Here are your damn hosts, Paul and Steve.
Welcome into That Damn Fantasy Show. I am Paul Catalina. This is Steve May. This is the first episode of That Damn Fantasy Show. Now, if you're looking back on the archive of this channel and find a different fantasy show, that is also the two of us, but it wasn't That Damn Fantasy Show.
No,
it was
that
not.
Was the precursor to this creation.
That was the before Superman could fly, he was just leaping over buildings.
Yes.
Yeah. So
the neophyte.
Yeah. Some people will get that reference. Other people will not. And if you don't get that reference, you can eat a bag of dicks to me. That's fine. I don't care. Like this, that we're going to try to be kind of an irreverent comedy fantasy football show. We're going to talk shit to each other, Steve.
Well, now I got Superman 4, good or bad?
It's not good, but
With
it's
Richard Pryor.
But that's Superman 3 is Richard Pryor.
Quest for Peace.
Superman 4 is Quest for Peace, and it's two different movies.
So Pryor's in 3. My bad. All
Superman 4 is two different Superman movies cut together with a nonsensical plot that doesn't flow through because they shot two scripts and then they just cut it together.
Yeah. Okay.
Superman 3 ends with a ridiculous hellscape nightmare of mine from youth where that lady gets sucked into the computer and turns into that creepy robot thing, which even still should not have been able to fight Superman. Like, he just melted it, right? I mean, like,
yeah.
Or cooled it down. I can't remember. Whatever it was, but Richard Pryor was in it.
Yes.
And that was in his I need money phase.
Yes.
So, and that has nothing to do with fantasy football, but that's the stuff that you're going to get here on That Damn Fantasy Show is non sequiturs about random stuff.
We are both, I would say, pop culture savants.
Yes.
With just tons of worthless, to some worthless knowledge just floating in our head, and it can be thrown out at any minute.
I had this discussion with someone the other day. Once you get out of college, the useful academic information leaves your head unless you're in a certain discipline that requires it.
That's fair. Yeah.
So like if you're a doctor or a lawyer or an engineer or something that needs that kind of academic discipline, those things still remain. But if you still walked up to any like heart surgeon and you were like, hey, which is your favorite of Shakespeare sonnets? And they'd be like, The Wall. They know that's Pink Floyd, man. They wouldn't know. But I do think that like forced into that. So like, because that stuff leaves, you fill it up with stuff that you want to fill it up with.
Yes.
So if you're forced to, like if we were, dropped out of a plane into the wilderness, those Boy Scout days would come back to us eventually, should we not be killed in the woods.
I was not a Boy Scout, Paul.
Oh, well, then we're screwed. I was.
I did watch MacGyver.
Yeah. So, yeah, those kind of things
good.
would maybe pick up on you.
Okay.
But you would pick those things up. So, today we're going to go through some drafts, do's, and don'ts.
Yep.
Some etiquette for those things. We're going to workshop some team names. And no stardom sit 'em this week. I want you to go through some of your cut down lists.
Yeah.
Some of the things to keep an eye on. Steve and I had a draft this last week. And I think the whole league did very well. It's going to be very balanced, but I haven't looked at anybody else. I just know that two of the running back picks I made, later on have already been downgraded from where they even were when we were doing the draft. So like, that's how these things go. So when this is the, week 1 or week 3 injury on a player that you're like, oh darn, now I have to find something. But Elijah Mitchell, my handcuff for my first pick, Christian McCaffrey, he's out for the season. Season-ending IR. We didn't know that on Saturday when we were doing this.
That was shocking. I mean, I guess I knew he was injured, but to that extent where they were just, you're done for the year.
So now, I've had to look there. And then I picked up Kendry Miller thinking he's going to be the primary backup. And apparently Dennis Allen hates him.
Yeah.
So like there are those things that go into this that, you don't know until the end of camp. And we were right at the end of camp and cut down day, which is for our team and our schedule, our league, we can't do it post cut down day,
right?
Which is ideally what you'd like to do. just so that you know these things that are going to happen before the season. But ultimately, it doesn't really matter because shit's going to happen, and that's what you're going to have to
Yeah.
deal with.
And so in every league that you had people that knew what they were doing,
Mhm.
Elijah Mitchell was drafted in every league.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, that totally came out of the blue. If you got CMC early, that was your handcuff. There was no news to suggest otherwise. So when that news hit, I had him in another league. I had the number 1 pick, so I'd taken McCaffrey, and I took Mitchell in the very last round. I was surprised I got him. I thought someone would kind of snipe me on it, so I went in, cut him, and at this point, I picked up Jordan Mason. Who knows if that's going to be the
see,
right
like
pickup or
I
not.
didn't even pick up a 49ers running back.
Yeah.
I just decided against it because I'm like, well, you know what? I'll just pick up the next highest person on the projections, and then that's going to be something. I see it more as an opportunity because now I know I have to watch the waiver wire for the guy we don't know, the out of nowhere guy who's going to be a stud this year that nobody drafted.
Happens every year.
I'm going to watch it like a hawk for when that happens and be ready to pounce. And this wasn't a waiver thing. This was just picking up a guy straight up. So it's not like my position was compromised or anything like that, but I did have to drop him. And like with, Kendrick Miller is easy. I just went and got Jamal Williams.
Yeah.
I mean, like that, he's the backup.
Yeah.
That's what they signed him to be anyway. He wasn't last year really, after coming off a great year. So we'll see, but I'm fine with all that.
Yeah.
I'm fine with all that.
They really wanted Miller, I think, to be the guy, and for whatever reason, it's just not panning out. So Kamara just keeps sitting in that spot, and I don't really think they like Jamal Williams, but apparently he's better than Miller. But we can talk about it here in a little bit. But there's some teams that really have some running back questions, especially after the cut down day. I mean, one that sticks out right off the bat, Cleveland, on their cuts, they have 2 running backs. They kept 4 quarterbacks, even though they got Deshaun Watson for whatever contract he has. They kept 4 quarterbacks, 2 running backs, with Jerome Ford and Pierre Strong, because Chubb is on the PUP list.
Yeah, he's half Chubb right now.
Yeah,
half Chubb, not full Chubb.
So
partial Chubb.
Yeah, so that one's weird and
physically unable to Chubb.
I think there's medication for that.
Yeah.
Not that I would know, but
says the pharmaceutical salesman.
Yes, yeah. But there's I had a draft last night and ours over the weekend. I really noticed this year there's a huge drop off when you get to a certain point with running backs that you can say that person is definitely the starter. They're going to get 15 to 20 carries a game. There aren't that many of those anymore. Then you get down to the committees, the Washington situation, Dallas, the Chargers, Tennessee. It's a mess. So you got to kind of guess, who do you think at this point is going to be the main guy? And it's a crapshoot.
Yeah. I mean, that like there's, what I think was wild was the fact that there are teams that like now because of their situation, you don't even touch most of their players. They have like 3 fantasy, like the Cowboys have 3 fantasy players worth it really. Maybe 4 if you count Rico Dowdle. If he's worth it later on.
I'm starting to even doubt that.
With them going to get Dalvin Cook, what happens there? I think that Dalvin Cook and Zeke Elliott are in the exact same spot in their career right now. They're the same age and all that. I think Dalvin Cook has maybe a little bit more left in the tank than Zeke. But I don't think that one's at a half tank, one's at a quarter. We're not talking about reinventing that offense there. And Rico Dowdle, again, he's fine. He'll get it done for them. But this is a Cowboys year where nobody really drafted Brandon Cooks because last year wasn't very, very productive for him. Jalen Tolbert has maybe even passed Brandon Cooks on the depth chart, but the second receiver is going to be Jake Ferguson anyway, and CeeDee Lamb was holding out, even though he still warrants a very high pick. Because really, now that CeeDee's back, that is it. So it's Dak and CeeDee, and that's how it is. Usually there are many Cowboys offensive options, not now.
Yeah, for the running backs, I think Dowdle will end up getting most of the carries per game, with Zeke getting the goal line. They're putting Cook on the practice squad right now.
Yeah.
but I think eventually he'll. So my guess as we move through the season, it'll be Daddle, Zeke, and Cook most weeks, with Deuce Vaughn being inactive
And
some
look,
weeks. So
and I'll tell you, don't sleep on Hunter Lipke stealing some of that stuff too.
yeah.
So like they have this, I mean, this ridiculous by committee situation, and I just don't, I don't know if it's gonna. I mean, I'd like prepare yourself for bad fantasy numbers for the Cowboys this year, because I just think that they have backed themselves into a corner.
Yeah.
On a lot of this stuff. But you never know. The Cowboys, like when you least expect it, is when they
Zeke could end up rushing for 1,000 yards and getting 12 touchdowns.
Yeah, you get one of those Renaissance years. You know,
but
it's weird. So anyway, like those are things to look out for, watch out for, as you're going through these drafts. So let's go through and do some draft do's and don'ts, Steve. Like, people you should stay away from. Also, let's give people some draft etiquette, like things that they need to be aware of as they're drafting. Mostly, I would say draft etiquette. Watch the clock.
Yes.
Watch the clock. I think, and part of the thing that happens is, and this happens early on, we have a player in our league, Keith Thornall, and I'm calling him out by name, who not only has a computer up, but he's also got sheets and papers all over the place. This is an ineffective way to draft. You either have to do one or the other. You cannot do both. And tabbed browsing is a good thing.
Yeah.
So like if you got your tabs up, have ready, queue, have people in your queue. Like that's the other thing I don't think that a lot of people do is like whatever fantasy draft you use, whether it's ESPN, Yahoo, Sleeper, whoever, all of them have a fucking queue. Okay. So just put it in there and then like be ready. Go through it, like take 10 minutes before the draft starts, create your perfect scenario for your picks, like create that in order and just keep going. And then when it goes away, you just start dragging in people. So that way, that, all right, here's the way I think of it. If there's 8 picks until I've got a pick, I have to have 8 people that I want to, or 9 people that I want to draft in there in case all of them get picked, which is never going to be the case when you get later on, because nobody's going to be thinking the same as you. So use your gosh darn queue. Use it. I cannot emphasize enough.
The clock thing is a big thing. And in our league, I tried to put the hammer down like, hey, when it hits, you're getting an auto pick, but I wussed out and gave a little leeway on a couple people to go ahead and make their pick. But
I wish it was like NFL draft rules where you get skipped. You can skip until you they can still make the pick at any time. Yeah. But I would love it. Maybe we need to like partner with one of these things and create those things.
I'm sure there's some platform out there that does that. But yeah, I've never been one that panics when it's my turn to pick, because I'm ready. Like I'm watching and I'm in my head, even if I don't have the queue. And to be honest, I don't use the queue a lot because it's kind of in my head and I'm marking,
Yeah, but you're using you only use your phone to actually, or your computer to actually enter the pick.
Yes.
That's all you're doing.
I'm old school with paper and I'm marking people off, and I do that in every draft. But so that's a big one. If you're doing a draft where you're calling out the name of who you want, pay attention and don't throw a name out there that's already been drafted. Yeah. The draft I did last night, actually I had 2 drafts last night. I had one on the phone going along with a live one. Yeah. And during the live one, it happened multiple times where someone threw out a name that had already been picked. And it was like, how hard is it to just pay attention and follow along? So, but yeah, to me, those are the 2 biggest things. Yeah. For any kind of draft day etiquette.
Yeah, I think that's a huge deal. And it's not talked about enough, Steve, in our community of the fantasy football community. Just pay attention to the clock. Just set up a queue, have a system. Don't be scattershot. Yeah. The only time it takes me a long time to make a pick is where I'm looking at my queue and going, oh, okay. Or on the off chance that someone who I didn't put in there because I was like, well, there's no way
Mm-hmm.
that 11 picks from now that this guy's going to be here.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, it happened last week where I was like, there's no way I'm going to put him here. There's no way I'm not going to put him there. And then I looked down, I'm like, oh, he's still there. Well, I'm going to take him now. And then but I had to look and make sure that I'm not like my screen hasn't refreshed or
Yeah.
something like that and I didn't want to do that and be like, oh, take Jacoby Brissett. And you're like, gone, you know.
I had one the other night. It was an online draft, 10 teams, and each pick you had a minute and a half. And I swear to God, Paul, everybody's going along. The person at the turn who gets the luxury of 2 picks back to back, you should be ready to go every single round. That person took almost the full 90 seconds to make 2 picks back to back. It was so frustrating.
Have you ever done an online draft with me?
I don't know if we did it one year because of COVID.
Yeah, COVID.
Yeah.
I will tell you, like, I pride myself on the music playing and hitting the button before it's done.
Yeah.
I'm on it.
Yeah.
I'm on it. Like when the little sounder plays, I'm clicking that
Yes,
bitch.
yeah.
I'm just like, boom.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
So yeah, I yeah, absolutely. I'm not messing around. I want to get that done.
And if you're the commissioner of a league and you have somebody new playing in your league that either has never played before or is not used to your rules, it's up to you as a commissioner to kind of coach that person up before the draft
Yeah.
and tell them, hey, here's how you don't fuck things up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah. You're gonna make everybody mad at you.
Yeah.
Also, I need to make a plea here that let's get back to trust and make some trades in leagues. Our league has zero
trades.
trust. Zero
Yep.
trades. I think we had one last year.
I'll tell you what, though, listening to Fantasy Sports Radio, it seems like every host talks about that. So I think it's not just us. I think every league you get locked in on and it is a lack of trust. Like, I want to do a trade, but I'm going to get screwed by this person.
Yeah.
Or why are they offering me that trade? What do
Yeah.
they know that I don't know?
Yeah.
It's that kind of stuff. But
well, that also goes to being informed.
yeah.
Like if you're informed, it's fine. Like I've never regretted making a trade, even one that didn't work out.
So
I mean, in the sense of like, okay, it didn't work out. My guy got hurt.
yeah.
You know, like it was good at the time. I've never gone in hitting yes and going, oh, I shouldn't have done that.
So my main league that we just had year 27.
Yeah.
I would guess I'm pretty accurate on this. In the 27 years of that league, we've probably had less than 27 trades.
Yeah. Yeah.
Less than one a year.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's spot on there.
And look, if you've got a glut of something and it's not like now, here's the other thing that makes this a little more hard to trade. Used to you had locked in positions,
Mm-hmm.
so there wasn't flex and super flex and things like that.
Yeah.
But now, if you have a flex and a super flex, you're like, well, why do I need to trade? I just like instead of playing running backs, I'll play wide receivers. I happen to have 2 really good tight ends. I'll put them in there.
Yeah.
So it doesn't like that aspect of it has kind of taken out the necessity.
Mm-hmm.
Now, like I play fantasy baseball as well, and I love it. The thing I love about it is like you're always going to have to trade in fantasy. Like you cannot win in fantasy baseball without making trades.
Yeah.
You cannot do it.
Yeah.
You can't win game. You cannot like you have to. You'll wind up like, oh, I have 4 second basemen. Like, why don't I need 4 second basemen? Like, I've got a flex spot and a second base spot. Like, I'm gonna trade this second baseman. This guy has 4 shortstops. Now I need a short.
But for me with trades, and this is a good topic because, like after our draft, I look at my team and conceitedly think I'm good. I don't need to trade with anybody unless some weird injury happens. So I'm not going to trade just to trade to do one. So that's but yeah, we've that's never been a thing of ours.
Yeah. No. It's never been a thing. All right. So draft do's and don'ts this week. Who should people go for and stay away from? And please keep it brief.
Yes.
I mean, let's not go into a whole thing.
I'll throw out a name right now that people are still high on, and I'm not basing this on anything other than just gut feeling. I am not high on Puka Nacua this year. I think last year he blew it out. It was an anomaly, came out of nowhere. Cooper Kupp didn't have a great year. They still love Cooper Kupp there. So Nacua is going in the first round, early second round. I don't have him on any teams that I've drafted. I've had 8 drafts. I have him on 0 teams.
I would take him. I agree with you. I think it's not that early. Now he's got value in that, like, he and Kupp have the same value, and that if either one of them get hurt, then the targets go way up for the one who's playing.
Yeah.
But I also think that Sean McVay's going to throw a lot in that offense, where there's value. But
I mean, I'd rather wait on him, because then you can get Cooper Kupp in 3rd or 4th round typically, and you've got someone better in the earlier round. So he's one. I'm not really big on this year. And then with Chicago, I'm not big on DeAndre Swift.
Yeah.
This year, they have a lot of running backs there. I'm sure Swift is going to be the number 1 guy, but I don't know. I just have a feeling that
and they're going to throw a lot.
Yeah. They're going to be behind. And they
also have like 3 really good
outstanding receivers and a good tight end too. So those 2 for me, if I'm looking at lists of, the top 20 players where they're always on it, they're not on there for me.
Yeah.
Unless they just drop, and then there's a lot of value there. So
okay. Rookie quarterbacks, who would you take? Who would you, if you have to, again, we play in a super flex league.
Yep.
My plan was Tua and Caleb Williams.
Yep.
And couldn't get Caleb. Got sniped.
Did I get Jaden? I think I got Jaden Williams. I'm looking at my
Jaden Daniels. Yeah.
Jaden Daniels. Yeah.
Caleb and Jaden Daniels, I'm fine with. JJ McCarthy, obviously out.
Yeah.
Bo Nix, I actually think will surprise some people.
Yeah, I think he's gonna be good.
But I understand
between Jaden Daniels and Caleb Williams, I like Daniels a little bit better. Although I think both are going to be outstanding. I just think the coaching's better, I think, in Washington.
Yeah.
And I just think he's going to be running a lot more than Caleb Williams is. But
they both run, though.
Yeah. So I've been trying to get one of those at least. Yeah. I do like Bo Nix.
You got Jaden Daniels before I was going to Then I had to settle for Will Levis, which I'm not mad about as my super flex quarterback. And it's fine. He's a quarterback. Hopefully, he just doesn't throw a lot of interceptions, but I can still get more points out of him than I can out of a lot of 3rd wide receivers most weeks. So I'm fine with it. If I need my home run hitters to hit home runs. If my home run hitters hit home runs, then the rest of my roster that we drafted is fine.
Yeah.
But I am the mayonnaise master makes me a little bit nervous there.
Well, Jaden Daniels, if you look at projections that sites are giving him, if he hits the projections, he will end the season as a number 7 overall quarterback in fantasy. He's currently being drafted as a number 12.
Yeah.
So there's value there with him. So either one of those guys, I'd be really happy to get. After I probably get a veteran. Yeah. So in our league, I got Jordan Love. And then I got Jaden Daniels. Again, super flex. I'm going to be starting both those guys, and hopefully it pays off.
Yeah. I was interesting that Sleeper didn't put Will Levis in. They're like, are you sure? Yes, I'm sure. I'm sure. Yes.
I'd rather have Will Levis than anybody in the Pittsburgh situation.
But I like Brian Callahan. Yeah. I really I trust him to really wear it out of Will Levis. He is going to squeeze every drop of Will Levis.
When D-Hop comes back and you got Ridley there, he's got
Tyler Boyd.
Really good. And then you got Pollard and Tajay Spears. That's another running back situation.
Future Dallas Cowboy waiver pickup, Traylon Burks.
Yeah. So Levis is in a good spot there. And I think he showed enough last year to warrant being named the starter and see what he has.
All right. Okay, good deal. Okay, now something else I wanted to do for this particular episode, for this one, since people are going to have to have team names. I've tried to do this in my league, and I've gotten basically where I said, okay, this year's theme. They're eat my butt. We're not going to have a theme. Please. Yeah. No. I could even think of like something fun, like, oh, it's variations of Hawk Tua. Like, go ahead, and then but they would be like, no, I'm still going to do this.
Yeah.
Mostly because we do have like several teams in the league. Ours is going on 20 years now, so like there are the teams, the original teams that like their only goal is to pick on the one guy that they pick on each other. So their team names are directed at each other. Our team names in the league that we are in change on a theme that Steve comes up with every year. For example, ours is music.
Yeah.
My team, because I have Drake London on it, is called London Calling.
I thought that was great. Yep.
So I try to find those things
Yeah.
inside a team and then make it that way.
Yeah.
So I try to get it, like, because as you know, I'm a big Burt Reynolds fan. I would love Burt Reynolds movies to be the theme one year.
We can do that. You need to remind me of that.
Yeah. Burt Reynolds movies, like,
so obviously you'll be Deliverance somehow. So.
I'm the bandit. Okay. No.
Yeah, I was pleased with. So last year we did a Star Wars theme, and I thought everybody came through pretty good. A couple people don't do it, and it kind of makes me mad. But
my one last year was again another Atlanta Falcon for whatever reason, but I had Kyle Pitts, so I was Sarlacc Pitts.
Yeah, perfect.
I mean, it was great.
Yeah. So this year, my son drafted Mike Evans, so his team is Stairway to Evans. I thought that was great. I'm a big Gordon Lightfoot fan, so I'm the Edmund Fitzgeralds. And then our reigning champion got Jalen Hurts, so he is Hurts so good.
Yeah,
thought that was great. I love the London Calling. My other son got Mahomes, so he is Country Roads Take Mahomes.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah, so I thought that was good.
Those are good. Those are original team names.
Yeah.
By the way, my fantasy baseball team this year, I changed the name in the middle because I had so many injuries. I'm now the hospital. I wanted to get a gif of, did you ever see the episode of The Office where Dwight was like, they're filling out their emergency contact and he got mad at Michael. And he's like, for emergency contact, put the hospital. That's what I wanted to do. But I wanted to throw out some. Let's improv this.
Okay.
Let's improv this. Let's yes and this all the way through. Improv team, like some team names. Not based on it, like just team names based on players. I'll start. Since you brought up Deliverance, you got a Purdy mouth.
That's a good one.
You got a Purdy mouth.
That's a good one. Yep. I like that one.
You can only use that if you have Brock Purdy.
Oh gosh. God, I saw one the other day. You're catching me off guard with the improv.
Well, this is what improv is, Steve.
I know.
It's yes and.
Yes. There's got to be a good one for Aaron Rodgers with his background.
Here's what I'll tell you.
Yeah.
You throw 1,000 touchdowns and bang one witch. You're not a quarterback. You're a witch banger. You know what? This is so.
Is that what they're saying Olivia Munn was?
No, he after Olivia Munn.
Oh, okay.
Who's married to John Mulaney now.
Yes.
And they have a kid. After that, he's gone in this weird, after Olivia Munn, after Shailene Woodley, he's he dated a witch, and that's how he kind of.
Where did Danica Patrick fall in that?
Oh, she's somewhere in there.
Yeah.
And that's where he picked up the conspiracy theory stuff.
Okay.
She has a podcast where she'll have people on and be like, listen, the guy's like, look, I've talked to Neil Armstrong. He knows something went on up there in the moon. And I'm like, okay.
What was the, Tank Dell, the Sweet Dell of Success.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I would say Farmer in the Dell.
Yeah.
Yep. Dude, you're getting a Tank Dell. Those are good. I don't know if people will get that reference.
Yeah.
But here's what we'll do to make it easier on you.
Yes.
Since I'm the professional improver here, which is true.
It's true.
People pay me to do improv for them.
Yeah.
So you give me a player.
Okay.
And I will make up a team name with that player.
Okay. CeeDee Lamb.
CD's TD's.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see. Justin Jefferson.
Just in time.
Okay.
I'll go back at CD. CD had a little lamb.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. Bijan Robinson.
I mean, there's a lot of, I mean, he already did the mustard thing.
Yeah.
But I like this one. If you remember this product from the 90s, Bijonnaise.
I do remember.
You remember
that.
Dijonnaise? It
Yes.
was like Dijonnaise. It was Dijon mustard and mayonnaise in the same bottle. Yeah.
Here's a good one. Beg, burrow, or steal.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But
Okay. Keep
let's
it
see.
going.
Let's see. Travis Kelce.
Taylor Stuntcock.
Are we sure about that?
Yeah.
Let's see. Let's go. Jahmyr Gibbs.
Jahmyr Gibbs. Leroy Jahmyr Gibbs.
Okay.
An NCIS theme.
Very good.
Yeah.
My wife loves that show.
I'm married. I'm going to tell you. Here's a non sequitur. Pause on this. We're going to come back to this. I'm married into a CBS family. You know, which is not a bad thing.
Yeah.
But I certainly married into a CBS family.
Yeah.
So like they'll ask me stuff like, "Did you watch Fire Country?" And I'm like, "No, I didn't
Yeah.
watch Fire Country." You know, like I'm more of a, I'm more of a Peaky Blinders guy. You know,
I'm a CBS show widower. Yes.
Uh.
Jennifer watches all the alphabet shows. So
here's the thing: I can't abide. This is gonna sound bad. I don't particularly care for things when they get like gender flipped, because like one way or the other, like I don't, it's just not.
Yeah.
I just write a new story. Like
Yeah.
don't need it. The Equalizer makes me so mad
Oh,
because of
yes.
and not because Queen Latifah's a fantastic actress. She's
Mhm.
really good. But like the theme of the Equalizer is that this badass ex-spy
mm-hmm.
who beats the crap out of criminals is sitting around, and you go to them and they're like, hey, the Russian mob is after me. And like if you flip it into a menopausal woman, like I just don't know if it carries
Easy.
the same weight.
Tread lightly.
I'm not treading lightly. I'm just saying, like, here's the deal. What, like, hey, the Yakuza's after me. Like, all right, here's what you do.
Mm-hmm.
Go to Lane Bryant at 4 p.m. and you'll
You say the Coos is after me?
The Yakuza.
Oh, I thought
The
you said the
Yakuza.
Coos.
The Yakuza's after me. Yeah, go to Lane Bryant at 4 p.m. So, yeah, but anyway, like that's
last one.
Last one. Okay.
Dak Prescott.
Oh. Big Dak, little Dak.
My boyfriend's Dak.
My boyfriend's Dak. Bull Dax.
Mm.
Let's see. Dak to Dak. I did have a team name a couple years ago that was I tried to make it like a Zach and Cody, like it was like Dak and Zeke and Dez. Like it sounded like
The Sweet Life.
that sounded like a Nickelodeon show. But I'm not good enough with like Canva to like make
Yeah.
the logo. And I wound up having all three of them.
Mhm.
Dak was my backup quarterback. And I got Zeke and Dez. And I was like, Dak and Zeke and Dez was my team name. And people didn't get like what I was trying to go for because I
Oh.
couldn't do the logo. But it does sound like a
That's
kid.
a pretty
It
good
did sound
team
like a
if you
kid
got three of
show.
them.
Like, I mean, look, Dak and Zeke and CD could also be a TV show.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, all right. Well, I will put that out to you guys on like in the comments on Twitter. Hit me up at Paul Catalina on Twitter and put it in the comments. If you want me to think of a team name for you based on a player. And look, here's the thing. I have one pet peeve. I know you may have a great team name picked out, but if that player is not on your team, I'm
Yeah.
thinking you can do
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
You
You have
can't
to have
do
that.
it.
Yeah.
Like if you like you got a pretty mouth, you better have Brock Purdy.
Mm-hmm.
If you want CD's TDs,
Yeah.
I
I almost did after I got Jordan Love. I almost switched to All You Need Is Love.
yeah.
And I could have had a Beatles theme for my team, but I was already set on the Edmund Fitzgerald. So
Or you could have done it like Love, 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 which
Yes.
is also All You Need, same
Yes.
song.
Yeah.
But yeah. So there we go. Is there anything else we have not gotten to, Steve, yet?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I mean, most of the drafts have happened or
Yeah.
they are happening this weekend. I do have one more draft on Sunday, another live. So that'll be my 8th one, and I'm done. I showed some willpower this year, Paul. I was invited to another league, pretty decent buy-in and a payout. I said no.
Wow. Congratulations.
I don't think I've ever done that before.
No.
Usually,
Take it from me, who has trouble saying no to anything that I think will be fun. I had to I was single for a very long time. For a very long time.
I
in my
know.
life.
I know.
So, and I'm married now, and so I have I've had to work on it. Like, somebody will call me up and go, "What are you doing Thursday?" And I'm like, "Nothing." And they're like, "Do you want to come do stand-up, or do you want to do this thing, or, to be in 11th fantasy league, or do my podcast?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And then I'll be like, "Hold on, babe, Thursday?" "No, I can't go."
Yeah.
We have plans, we have this. And it's fine. I prefer the married to the single life. It's better.
Yeah.
It's calmer. It's less hectic. But I do still have that habit of stand up in Temple? Hell yeah.
Yeah. Sign me up.
$75? Yeah, $75. You gonna give me a bar tab with that? Great.
I'll cover my gas and drinks.
Let's
Yep.
go. Cover my gas and drinks and give me a payment on there, but you can't do that.
Just if we're wrapping things up real quick, just some rapid fire running back situations. My opinion on who the number one person will be. Dallas, I've already mentioned. I think it's going to be Rico. The Chargers, I've been drafting Gus Edwards.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people like J.K. Dobbins. That's a coin flip. I've drafted a lot of Gus Edwards, so I'm hoping he pans out.
Mm-hmm.
Tennessee, I think it's going to be Pollard,
Mm-hmm.
with Spears being the change of pace guy. And then with Washington, I think it's going to be Robinson, with Gibson being the third down.
Yeah.
I think those are the main questionable situations right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, this has been That Damn Fantasy Show. I'm Paul. He's Steve. We'll have guests too. We're gonna bring guests in here.
Yes.
We'll have guests on Zoom and all those things. We're gonna have a good time. So look, this is the first one. It's only gonna be better from here. Can only get better from here.
So
Consider this your rock bottom.
yeah.
Yeah.
So next week we'll do Stardom Sit-em.
Yeah.
We'll talk DFS
Mhm.
quite a bit probably.
Yeah.
We're both really into DFS. And we both do pretty well at that. So so a lot of cool stuff in
so
store.
we'll do that, and then we're also in 2 weeks after the first week of games, we're gonna have a segment every week called "What the Hell Was That?"
Yeah.
Where something happens bad, we're gonna pick something off our roster that happened bad, or something bad that just happened in general that we have to talk about, and we're gonna say, for example, Dak Prescott, the hell was that?
Yeah.
Like that, like the things, kind of a bad beats thing. This is what I was counting on. Oh, my running back is going against the worst run defense in the league. He had 11 yards and
What was the Saturday Night Live skit? What up with that?
Yeah, what up with that? Ooh-wee. Yeah, one of my favorites.
I love it. Yeah.
One of my favorites.
I'll wear a jumpsuit and dance.
Yeah. That's going to do it for us. This is That Damn Fantasy Show here on YouTube. Check me out on Twitter at Paul Catalina. Steve is at Commish.
Syntex Commish.
At Syntex Commish. Syntex Commish. Hit us up there. We'll have other socials too as this grows, and we'll be out on that as well. You can find all that stuff in the bio. Thanks. Please like and subscribe. Share with your friends. It's the lifeblood of this industry. Love you.
Thanks for watching That Damn Fantasy Show. Join Paul and Steve again next time. And remember, it's just fantasy, damn it. Can someone call my agent? This is a really dumb job.
We are Rogue Media Sports.